Becoming a Death Eater was always a dream of Draco Malfoy's. He'd grown up hearing stories of Lord Voldemort and how the Dark Lord planned to create a pure-blooded wizarding society. He was raised to believe that families like his, pure-blooded, prestigious people, were above Muggleborns and that the mixture of magical and Muggle blood was an abomination. Draco wished he could one day take part in the Dark Lord's regime and help bring upon a glorious change. Compare that to the anxious, nervous wreck of a boy you've just seen at the beginning of this video, and you've basically got polar opposites on your hands. So it leaves the question, where did it all go wrong for Draco? I mean, he wanted this. There's nothing he wanted more than to do his father proud and contribute. Yet by the end of it all, he was a broken shell of a human being, sobered from the catastrophe of war. So in today's video, I'm going to properly break down and discuss where it all went wrong for Draco Malfoy, and how the pressures of pleasing those around him sent him to breaking point, which in turn caused him to lose his identity entirely. So let's not wait any longer, let's get straight into today's video and look at why Draco Malfoy failed as a Death Eater. All Draco had ever known was the beliefs his upbringing instilled upon him. He was a Malfoy, one of the oldest families of the wizarding world. For centuries the Malfoys were pioneers in their attempts to create a pure-blooded wizarding society. His father Lucius was of the firm belief that the world would have been better off had Voldemort survived, as the Dark Lord came extremely close to a complete takeover with Lucius as his second in command. It was heavily laid upon Draco that he should only associate with those on his own level, that the current situation of Hogwarts teaching Muggleborns is a disgrace, and only for his mother's objections, Draco would have attended Durmstrang Institute in Eastern Europe, a magical school that does not accept Muggleborn students. So Draco's personality is heavily influenced, and it shows judging from his first few years at the school. He was a bully and a strategist at the same time. He sought to befriend Harry Potter in order to appear even more prominent as an associate of the boy who lived. And remember, at this point, Lucius queried if Harry was actually destined to be Voldemort's replacement. Only when Harry rejected Draco's friendship did we see the first real nasty side of him. He belittled Ron Weasley, he made fun of Neville Longbottom, and let's not forget his treatment of Hermione Granger, as he really invested himself into pureblood nature.
No one asked your opinion, you filthy little mudblood.
He was the first to call her a mudblood, and openly stated to Harry and Ron, of whom he believed were Goyle and Crabbe, that he hopes Hermione gets killed by the monster of Slytherin.
As for me, I hope it's Granger.
For me, I feel this was the first real sign of Draco's commitment to his core beliefs. I mean, to want another student to die because they don't have the same magical blood as you do, that says potential Death Eater all over it. He continued his bullying and harassing ways, as did his father, with his meddling in Hogwarts affairs, like trying to get Buckbeak executed or Dumbledore permanently removed from office, among other immature acts, until everything Draco dreamed of finally happened when the Dark Lord returned to power at the end of his 4th school year. This is what Draco had waited for. This is what he wanted, what his father wanted. The Dark Lord finally returning to resume his assault on the magical world in order to transform it into the society it deserved to be, a pure-blooded one. Draco was finally able to pledge himself to the Dark Lord in order to contribute to the cause. He knew he'd have to harm people, threaten people, use as much force as needed, which he genuinely believed wouldn't be a problem. He was used to hexing and jinxing his usual bullying victims, so what's difficult about upping his game for results that meant a lot more than the personal satisfaction he got from bullying? The issue with Draco is that he always ran his mouth. He always said things that he never really had to back up. Basically, he always talked the talk, but when it came down to it, could he walk the walk? Could he really step up, show the strength, maturity and composure to get any job done that was required of him? I don't think Draco expected to be thrown in at the deep end so soon and so young. I think he believed he would be learning closely from Lord Voldemort and assigned to a more experienced Death Eater in order to see firsthand what it was like and what exactly was required of him. His father's failure played a big part in Draco's heavy involvement as a Death Eater so soon after his initiation. On one side, the Dark Lord wanted to punish Lucius by pushing Draco to complete a task he knew he would fail, which would humiliate Draco and most likely result in his own severe punishment or possibly even death. On the other side, Draco felt so uneasy at the thought of his father in Azkaban and the Malfoy name having lost its credibility. He was desperate to prove himself to Voldemort, to show he could get the task done, kill Albus Dumbledore, restore his family to prominence and regain the respect his father lost. He was initially very up for the challenge. He wanted to kill the Hogwarts headmaster. It's what was asked of him, and had he actually gone through with it, got the job done, he would have become a highly respected Death Eater and earned his seat at the table. However, Draco had seen a few things. He'd witnessed firsthand what the wrath of the Dark Lord was like, what it meant to fail him, that he would be held accountable for his actions, and he would become a criminal. On top of that, there was just one small issue. The fact that Draco Malfoy was not a killer. It's true he had his father's head, but he had his mother's heart. He didn't have it in him to truly end someone's life, and that was certainly the case with Albus Dumbledore. The headmaster even recognised the half-hearted attempts on his life with poisoned mead and the cursed necklace, of which the boy hoped would reach him through other people's hands. The task took its toll on Draco throughout his 6th year. He had become anxious, weary, and the stress of failure caused him to lose weight and obtain a gaunt-like appearance. He was only 16, not even an adult. This was not the life he had dreamed of. This wasn't the glorious return of Voldemort that he had hoped for. Times were dark, cold, there was a flatness in the air. Draco constantly worried about harm coming to his parents, especially his father, who was on very thin ice with the Dark Lord. He knew within himself that he couldn't kill someone, but if he didn't, the consequences were going to be severe, and to be honest, that trauma pretty much broke Draco. It broke his spirit, it broke him as a person, and this was his only first real experience of being out in the field as a Death Eater. It was at this point he knew what Voldemort was. He knew he was a monster who would lash out at any given moment, and that his idea of creating a new world was not the one Draco was expecting or hoping for. He was also very well aware that killing Dumbledore would all but seal Voldemort's victory, as he was basically the only one who matched the Dark Lord's power, and the only one who had a chance of stopping him. I also wonder if Draco was aware that killing would split his soul and affect him transitioning into the afterlife, but in saying that, if he actually did go through with it, killing Albus Dumbledore, the severe remorse I believe would have healed his soul eventually. Thankfully, Severus Snape stepped up at the right time and completed the task for him, sparing Draco the unwanted effort. At that point, Draco had completely checked out, but he was very clever about it. He knew it was Harry at Malfoy Manor, and still acted as if he wasn't sure at this point. With Dumbledore gone, he knew Harry was the last and only chance of defeating the Dark Lord. The thing is, he didn't entirely count on it, which is why he still confronted the trio in the Room of Requirement, along with Crabbe and Goyle. Draco just didn't want to get his hands dirty in case Harry actually won. It was quite clever, but also quite self-centered. What is for certain is that Draco wasn't trying to stop Harry for Voldemort, he was just trying to keep his parents safe from harm, and it's fitting how that was their same line of thought too, as his mother lied to Voldemort in order to find out if Draco was alive. It really was a case of head versus heart when it came to Draco being a Death Eater. He had always wanted to fulfill the role and what was required of him, but in the end, he just didn't have it in him. As I said earlier in the video, the way he was introduced into the fold was completely wrong. There was no development or preparation. He was purposely thrown in at the deep end, and it was always going to go downhill from there. Anyway guys, with that being said, that is my explanation on why Draco Malfoy failed as a Death Eater. As usual, if I have left anything out, then please make sure to let me know in the comment section below. The trailer for Riddle and animated story is very close to being completed, and it will be released very soon. Thanks again for watching, have a great day, and I'll see you all in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate your support. Everyone, notifications of uploads are more important than ever. So please, if you haven't already, turn those notifications on to make sure you're notified the moment my video goes live. Making videos is what I love to do. It's my dream and my passion. However, it does cost time and money to produce this content. So if you have $1 to spare to support me on Patreon in exchange for some exclusive unseen content, then you can click the Patreon link below or at the end of this video. Please only support me if you can afford it. And make sure to follow me on Instagram at InstaDNJ and on Twitter at Folklore. Check out my other videos appearing on screen, and please make sure, most importantly, to hit that subscribe button. Thanks again everyone, and please have a great day.